So, hello everyone, I'm Hari Osofsky. I'm a faculty member here at the law school and the faculty director of the Energy Transition Lab. And it's an honor and a pleasure to welcome all of you to the University of Minnesota Law School for the Energy Storage Summit. It's a crucial moment, as you all know, in the development of energy storage, which is a linchpin in transitioning our energy system. The purpose of today's summit is to bring together energy experts and interested observers from a variety of sectors to get a shared understanding of the policy, market, and legal regulatory drivers of energy storage and the opportunities that we have here in Minnesota to accelerate energy storage. Now, we have an amazing group of people gathered here today. Of our roughly 200 participants, about half come from the private sector, including electric utilities. The other half are pretty evenly divided, as you can see, among university, sort of college folks, public sector government folks, and nonprofit NGO sectors. I also want to acknowledge a few people today without whom this event wouldn't have happened. And first and foremost, I want to acknowledge, and this is why I get to start so that I can make this thank you, Energy Transition Lab Executive Director Ellen Anderson. She's been, that's right, let's give her a hand. The terribly low energy Ellen, no, I'm joking. Anyone who knows Ellen knows she is a tremendous force of nature, and she has been the lead organizer of this summit and done just an amazing job, I think, putting together this wonderful program and bringing us all together for this important conversation. The efforts she's made around every detail of this summit are simply extraordinary, and she really made, I think, also a wonderful effort within the university to reach out to an interdisciplinary group of people, to reach out to key people in the corporate sector, government sector, nonprofit sector, so that we really could have the people in the room today that we need to talk about this crucial issue of energy storage. Now, she's been assisted in her organizing by the wonderful work of Energy Transition Lab Program Assistant Erin Sickink, who's right over there. Wave, Erin, we're going to give her a hand. As well as our terrific research assistants, Megan Butler, Jennifer Purtis, Laura Burlington, John Jarofsky, and Shonda Fisher, who helped out today. Let's give them a hand as well. I also want to introduce, though I think he's not quite here yet today, but thank Louis Gilbert, who's the Institute on the Environment Interim Director, and one of our two key funding partners at the University of Minnesota. We're grateful that he's going to be able to join us today. The Institute on the Environment support, together with that of the Office of the Vice President for Research, has been crucial to the Energy Transition Lab's creation and development. Vice President Brian Herman sends his regards and wishes he were not out of town for this gathering. I also want to thank the Dean of the Law School, David Whitman, who you will hear from at the reception. The law school has provided space and other administrative support for the Energy Transition Lab in our gathering today. And I can tell you, as someone who's taught at 4 law schools, David Whitman is by far the best dean I've ever had. I also want to thank the I&E communications team. I saw Mary Hoff right back there, for the program and Energy Storage 101 designs, and also law communications Cynthia Huff, who, if you look at these beautiful documents, really played a very helpful role as well. Now, I want to also take a moment here to thank our sponsors. We have generous sponsors for our reception, and you can see them all listed there, but Joule Energy, Evergreen Energy, Excel Energy, Center for Energy and Environment, Innovative Power Systems, Great River Energy, Minnesota Center for Environmental Advocacy, and PAR Energy Solutions, LLC, Policy Analysis and Regulatory Advice. We also need to give a big thank you to Midwest Energy News. They've promoted the event, and this slide shows you how to sign up for their excellent free news service. We also have been really grateful to have an advisory committee of experts both within and outside the university who helped us frame up, if we only had one day to do this initial conversation about energy storage. What would we cover? What would we do, right? It's tricky to get through all this stuff in one day and to do it in sort of a way that we all can engage together. And so we're really grateful to that committee. Could the sponsors and members of the advisory committee just please stand for a moment so we can recognize them? Any of you who are here? And last, but certainly not least, thanks to all of you for being here with us today to participate in this conversation. I'm really looking forward to our dialogue here today and to exploring opportunities for how we can all collaborate together to make progress on energy storage in Minnesota. And with that, I'm out of time, and I'm turning things over to Ellen Anderson, the Executive Director of the lab, for some introductory remarks.
All right, thank you so much, Hari. I appreciate it very much. And talking about high energy, I often feel like a very quiet wallflower when I'm in the room with Hari Osofsky. So that tells you what, we've got a lot of energy behind our Energy Transition Lab, and it's terrific. And I am so delighted to have all of you here today. We do have over 200 people registered, and there's only 200 seats. So I think the good news is people are going to trickle in and out over the day, so I hope everyone has a place to sit. You're all so welcome to be here. I want to real quickly introduce elected officials that have registered. I'm not sure if they're all in the room yet, but Representative Pat Garofalo, Mayor Peter Lindstrom of Falcon Heights is here. I know, raise your hand, Peter, thank you. And Mayor Gattell of Richfield, who was unable to come. We appreciate you all being here. And I also specifically want to thank Ralph Jacobson, because he's the one who initiated the idea for this meeting that turned into a big conference. I think we were envisioning, when he first suggested bringing people together to talk about energy storage, maybe a dozen people sitting around a table in a small room. But here we all are, and this is really what we need in Minnesota, knowing that the issue is so timely and so important for our state and for all of you and people from different sectors to be part of this conversation. So I am going, and you'll hear more from Ralph in his concluding remarks. A few details I need to cover very quickly. If you took a bus or train here, Metro Transit would like to give you a free transit ticket so you can show your pass or tell the people at the front registration table. They'll give you your free ticket. This is a zero waste event, and so all of our food and utensil items are either recyclable or compostable, so please look for those appropriate bins. If you leave the room, the restrooms are to the left down the main hallway. Each chair that you're sitting in has an electric outlet accessible to you if you need to charge things up. Please tweet about this event. Oops, sorry. Oh boy. I went backwards. Oh boy, I just messed this up quick. I just gave a quick sneak preview by hitting that. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm like the law professor giving the exam, and I just gave you the answers. So,
that's good. You solved energy storage already.
So please tweet. We're not sure if well, the internet should work in this room, so texting may not. Our hashtag is Energy Storage MN, so please use that and talk about your thoughts about the event. I want to make sure everyone knows at the end of the day, and after this is over, we will post all the slides from the participants. We will put a participant list without contact information on our website as well. Unless anyone objects, let us know. And the entire event is being videotaped, so we will have a video feed of this available on our website very soon as well. Lastly, at your tables there are small cards, and we have lots more where those came from. So as the speakers begin to talk, write your questions, and we will have Shanda over there and other of our wonderful research assistants coming around to collect your questions at the end of each presentation. So now I want to talk about how we're going to try to be interactive today. With so many talented and knowledgeable people in the room, we very much want to know what you think, but it's kind of difficult to have an intimate conversation with 200 people in one room at a time. So instead, what we're going to do is attempt to have an online, real-time interaction that you can follow on the screen. And so we're going to practice for just a minute or two here, and then you'll see more of this later. And so these instructions that are up on the screen may be familiar to those of you who read your email yesterday, your reminder email that came out that said, make sure you bring your internet devices, whether they're smartphones, tablets, or laptops, so you can access the internet. You can access the UMN guest Wi-Fi network very easily. Just click on that, and I think you have to click on I agree or something to terms and conditions. And then go to this website, polev.com/energylab, and I don't believe it's case specific. And then we can begin our Q&A, and we're going to start by showing you the results that we've gotten since yesterday in the last 24 hours, where we asked people to answer a couple of questions in our initial poll yesterday, and we'll see what the results are. So I want to make sure you know that when you go online, you should see the first question up on the screen. All questions, or excuse me, all answers that you submit will be anonymous. And again, we're going to post all these results once they're aggregated and finished and closed on our website. So, results from the last 24 hours. We asked people if they had any experience in the past with energy storage. And look at that, it's growing as we speak. That's what makes this function really fun. This is the Poll Everywhere website is real time. So go ahead and answer that question. I'll give you a few more seconds, and then we'll go on to the next question. So hopefully this will get everybody logged into the appropriate website, and we're going to do a couple of test questions. All right, next I'm going to jump to the next question that we started yesterday, and this is a word cloud, which I'm sure you have all seen word clouds, and the basic way they work is that you submit a word or two as your answer. What do you think of when you hear the phrase energy storage? And the words that are most commonly used have the largest font. So this is the way of keeping track of the most popular responses. And it's kind of interesting. I've never done it with such a large group of people. So it's going to continue to change and grow as you all input information. This is going to be fun. And as I mentioned, we'll have the final word cloud up on the website after we close it. Okay, great. So now I'm going to move on and ask you all a couple of new questions just to test that you're awake, paying attention, and logged in. Okay, so here's the one I gave the answer away for those who were really fast on the ball. So according to EIA, in 2014, what percent of Minnesota's electricity generation, net that is, comes from renewable sources? Just pick one answer, A, B, C, D, or E, and we'll give you, okay, you can see on the bottom total results, we're up to 37, 39. I'll give you just another few seconds, and then we'll click to the answer. We're almost up to 50. You guys are very fast. All right, we'll click to the answer, and then the rest of you can chime in. Here we go. The answer. Renewables make up 19.9% at this point as of 2014, and that number is growing fast. So we don't have, do we have a slide that shows how everyone voted? Did I skip that by accident?
You can see how many pessimists are in the room.
Yeah. Sorry, I should see how many people got it right. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a range. So, okay. But we have a lot of quick learners. Good job, people. I'm impressed. They're listening. That's right. And they can read that screen. Good. Okay, well, that was a good test. Okay, now this one's probably a little harder. So, shall I read this quote? And you have to tell us who said this. It has long been recognized that mankind must, in the near future, be faced by a shortage of power unless some means were devised for storing power derived from the intermittent sources of nature, such as solar radiation and wind power. We're going to let you see the answers as they populate this time, and we'll see what peer pressure does to the results. Ah, very interesting. So real-time voting here. This is really fun. I hope you like our interactive tool that we're going to use today. Okay, by the time I close this in 2 more seconds, you can have looked this up on the internet, and there will be no excuse for being wrong. Okay. We have a lull. I think people are looking it up. All right, let's go to the answer. Are we ready? We have Thomas Edison as the first choice. Sorry. Bzz. So U.S. patent holder R.A. Feniston, an inventor, wrote this in 1917. And he does mention Thomas Edison at the end in his comments. I won't read that. All right. You guys have passed your first test. Thank you very much for participating in this. This was really just a practice round. And at the end of the afternoon, after we've heard from a lot of really smart people with a number of really great presentations, we're going to ask some more questions to get feedback about what we learned, what we think, how we're processing the information, and where to go from here. So.